So in today's episode, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think the Sigma 56mm is a great lens for street and travel photography. And here we have the actual lens. Look at this, it's small, it's mounted on my Fuji XT30ii. If we look at this lens really closely, just quickly, because this is not a technical review, the weight of the lens is about 300 grams, or if you're watching in America, about 90 ounces. The minimum focusing distance on this baby is 19.5 inches or 50 centimeters. There's a filter size on it, 55 millimeters, which is great. You can put your variable ND filter on there if you want to. And it comes in at a retail price new of 390 to 490 bucks, which 450 bucks, excuse me, which I think is great. You can get an f1.4 for $300 to $400. It's great. We have the Viltrox here for $300 to $400 as well. I did a comparison video between the Sigma and the Viltrox. You can see it in the link. You can see it here and in the pinned comment below this actual episode. Let's go to the first reason here why I think this is such a great lens for street photography. The Sigma 56mm has one big advantage. It's the focal length to me. It's roughly an 83mm to 85mm equivalent on full frame, which means you can get nice narrow compositions. It also makes me think on how to frame my shots, because it is fundamentally different than when you're shooting with a 23mm or a 30mm. This is way more narrow. It also means you have a lot more separation between you and your subject, which in my case is a good thing, because I'm somewhat of a sneaky photographer. I like to capture people in their real emotions. I do that either on street or also for travel. I think street and travel kind of overlap. So what I find really important is here, lens has to be light. It has to be easy to carry. It has to sit well on my camera here. Now I've used this obviously on the XT30, but if you have an XE camera, let's say the 1 to 4, I can really recommend it as well, because the center weight is still pretty much in the middle. And if you're shooting on an XT1 until 5, then you're going to be fine regardless. So I really think that is fantastic here. So the second reason here, I always do like this, I shouldn't do that, but I do. The second reason is the price quality. I think what I just said here, you heard the prices, but I think really for this particular price point between 300 and let's make it $350 and $450 new, I don't think there are many lenses out there within that particular focal length here. So let's make it 55 to 60 millimeters on APS-C, which come down with such a good proposition in terms of build. Yes, it has no aperture ring, so that could definitely be a problem for those of you who are really hardcore Fuji shooters, but I normally modify my settings here in the camera, and that's okay as well. Then I just control it with the side button. But an f1.4 maximum aperture, very sharp in the center, bit soft on the outside, but that doesn't really matter. To me, autofocus, there's little to no, at least I haven't experienced. Only once I've experienced it, taking a shot of somebody who was smoking on about 5-6 meters, that I suddenly saw the lens breathing, and that was in bright daylight. So that was really an incident. That's what I like about it. Very reliable autofocus. Now here's the great thing. This is also available on various different mounts. It has the Nikon mount, Canon mount, Lumix mount, so the L mount here, which is also compatible to Sigma and Leica. It has it for Micro Four Thirds and for Sony E mount. So probably one of my favorite lenses, this one. So I think all of that makes a really good value proposition. Now number 3, just touched upon it, that is the image quality here and the shooting experience. The last part is also important for me. Yes, I do miss the aperture ring, but converting, modifying your camera, that's okay. I think the entire shooting experience with this is great. It's a relatively small lens, so it also means that in terms of backpack you're going with, I normally have this Peak Design 10 liter bag, which is gaping. That was wrong. Which is normally great when you're traveling with street photography. You can have 1 or 2 lenses in here. a good sized camera body. You can take your tablet here as well. And in the front you have some little things for batteries, passports, etc, etc. This bag has not disappointed me. So I think the overall experience here on this particular lens is great. Now the only downside here, what I see with this lens is aperture ring missing. I can work around with. I can't think of anything negative, people, which is highly unusual for me. So that's it today. Thank you very much.